Welcome back. This is the 23rd video in the Flow Certified Professional Online Training Series. We're going to look at some brutal facts, and one of them is in this picture right over here. And it's going to be some things that we need to address. And it's basically, this is cutting across organizationally or organizations worldwide. So the leadership takeaways for this is simple behavior is more effective. How often change management efforts succeed. The employee engagement numbers, and these are the Gallup worldwide numbers. The US numbers are higher. I'm not buying the US numbers because they say that they're 32% are engaged. I'm finding that really difficult to believe, but who knows? They might be right. We're going to look at how flow increases your odds of success, whether it's traditional change management or agile and scrum. Love this quote from Warren Buffett. Business schools reward difficult, complex behavior more than simple behavior. But simple behavior is more effective. Take it home and take it to the bank. Simple behavior is more effective. Remember what we were talking about in the Cynefin diagram, where you've got chaos and then complex and complicated and simple. Simple behavior is more effective. And that is the things that they don't teach you in the MBA programs. And so this is a really important takeaway for the leadership who have had MBA training. Okay? Simple is just a lot better than complex. Now, I flipped it around. Remember, I had the chart showing that 30% of the change efforts succeed using the Association of Change Management Professionals numbers. When you flip it around, 70% of all change efforts fail. That's a brutal fact that you need to be aware of. So roughly 1 in 3.5 of all of a little bit more than, more than 2/3. So more than 2 out of every 3 of your change management efforts are going to fail. And they're going to fail because of everything that we've been talking about so far in flow, plus everything else that we're going to talk about. So if you want to succeed, you need to hear what we're saying, take it out of the books, and actually apply it. You're not going to get any benefit just reading it in the book and going, yeah, that's great. This is the picture at the beginning, or maybe it's like that. And if you're looking at high alignment and low alignment of expectations versus reality, and looking at it matches your expectations 0% to 100%, worldwide, only 13% of your employees are engaged and feel satisfied. That number should scare the bejeebas out of all of you. Only 1 out of barely 7 people are going, yeah, this is great. 1 out of 7. That means we as leadership and managers and management consultants, we're failing. We are just failing across the board. Now, 87% are disengaged or actively disengaged. And if I remember this was somewhere around 20% down here. And what's interesting is I think that this graph, your expectations for your personal vision or your personal life, your expectations aren't matching your reality. I think that this applies to even marriages. I think this is one of the major causes of divorce. You come into a marriage and your expectations are up here, and it doesn't take very long for everybody to figure out that the reality is down here. and you have a choice. You either lower your expectations or you get divorced. And I think that's why we have such a high divorce rate in our cultures here in the West, is that people, they're not satisfied, they're unhappy, and so they disengage. And it's the same in work. What happens in your family life, well, it can often spill over into your work life. Doesn't have to, but it can. But I think that there's parallels there that are very interesting. So the formula for this, whoops, the formulas for this is expectations minus reality equals your level of engagement. Did you get that? Your expectations minus the reality equals your engagement or disengagement. If you've got up to 20% of your people, 1 in 5, actively working against you, think about that. They're actively working against the organization, the goals, objectives, vision, purpose. They're working against you. That should shake you to the core. And everything that we're talking about in flow is how to flip this around, how to get those actively disengaged back up to a level where they can be engaged. Are you going to get everybody flipped over? No, you don't have to. And through attrition and other things, eventually those people will go away. But if you're truly interested in changing your culture, you have to deal with this. Okay? If you don't deal with it, it will never get better. Now, if with, and here I'm using the Swedish numbers, if with classic waterfall you're only getting 16%, I can guarantee you if you apply the principles of flow, everything that we're teaching you here, and use flow as the leadership umbrella, you are going to get near agile results. Okay? And we don't go in and measure, exactly what the difference is. But we have examples of, like, the company that the CIO came into our training, took our training, went back to his teams that were already doing agile, and in the first 90 days got a 300% increase. This is what we're talking about. Okay, and this is a little bit different. This is how often you succeed with your work efforts and projects. So it's a little bit different than if you're just doing continuous flow. Change management, same thing. I can guarantee you, if you apply what we're doing in flow to your change management, ADCAR, whatever you're doing, if you apply our principles of flow to that, you will definitely, if not double, you will get much better results. And just like I shared with the Agile and Scrum, if you want to really be able to turbocharge what you're doing and get the biggest bang for your buck, to get the biggest return on your investment, you want to use flow with Agile. And we showed another picture of this earlier in one of the other videos, but I just want to bring that home again. But these are brutal facts right here, right down here. You're failing 80 what is it, 84% of the time. Here you're failing 70% of the time. Here you're still failing 58% of the time. That's a brutal fact. You need to deal with the brutal facts in a pragmatic way and pragmatically apply Agile and flow to everything that you're doing. And this is how you mitigate the brutal facts. At the individual level, you have to find ways to help people get that autonomy, mastery, and purpose if you have any chance of moving them up into the engaged level that you want them to be at. Same for Agile team facilitation. You have to learn to spin all those plates, and that's the hard work of work. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Simple isn't easy. It's a lot of work and it takes a ton of discipline. Same for the Agile coaching and same for the enterprise flow coaching. You need all four of these in play and happening at the same time if you want to have any hope of mitigating the brutal facts that we all know are there. So, in a recap, I love Warren Buffett's statement, simple behavior is more effective. We've looked at how often change management efforts succeed or fail, depending on which way you want to look at it. We looked at the employee engagement numbers, where only 13% are engaged, and that if you apply flow consistently and correctly, you will increase your odds of success. You will succeed more often. So the application of this, again, is not taking complexity to fight complexity. It's how do I simplify this? Will this impact engagement in a positive way? Because if people get overwhelmed with complicated complexity, they will step back and disengage and figure out ways to push away the work. The other thing you need to look at is, will my simplification efforts help my teams be more successful? And if not, why not? You need to do root cause analysis, use the 4R model in reverse, use the 4D model in reverse, and figure out what's going on. Use the flow friction analysis. And if you do these things, it's going to get you one step closer to having successful teams, successful products, and successful organizations. So now we're about 45% of the way through all of the slides. So hang in there, you're doing a great job.